Wow.
Yeah, I went from working at a factory in Indiana to bringing my boxed ham sandwiches to dominatrixes to eating Steve Wynn's Steakhouse. It was definitely it was definitely like, this is where I need to be. I'm so glad I left.
Wild turn.
I packed up my 1998 Pontiac Bonneville with about $1,800 in my pocket and drove out west.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Crime and Entertainment. I am live here in Vegas with Tyler May. Tyler, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, pretty good, Wade. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. Look, we got introduced by a mutual friend named Tyler.
Actually, Tyler, not to be confused.
Yeah, not to be confused.
Yeah, Mr. Sherman.
And he's hooked me up with a lot of great people, and he told me a little bit about your story. And basically, you're a gigolo here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Is that correct?
That would be correct.
How does one, and I've interviewed a lot of girls from the film industry, adult film industry. And so I always like to say, like, how does one get into this industry? Because it's not for everybody, and everybody always has a unique path that they pave to get here.
Right.
What was yours?
So it obviously doesn't start like that. So, I mean, if you've seen any of my prior interviews, I started as a male stripper in Indiana, ended up winning some competitions, moved out to Las Vegas, had some job offers. So all through my 20s and most through my 30s, I was just doing bachelorette parties in hotel rooms. So I worked for a company called Sin City Entertainment and Sin City Strippers. And basically, you come in as a fireman, cop, cowboy, room service, construction worker. I mean, I fucking dressed up like Legolas from Lord of the Rings. I've done Harry Potter parties, believe it or not, coming as Harry Potter. So, like, I started out doing that. And then when you start doing that, Vegas is a big city, small town. And word gets around, and you just start meeting people, and you just start meeting different people. And the older you get, like, I always joke that I love stripping, and it was a great experience. And I still do parties sometimes, but it's a young man's game. It's definitely a young man's game. And as you get older, you just kind of you graduate into there's levels to this shit.
Right.
So you get to another level, and I got into being a male escort gigolo, which does not mean sex. Does not mean sex, by the way.
Right. I mean, it could include that, but it doesn't. That's not always what it's going to be.
Well, if you say so.
So you never had a problem like, showing skin or anything like that? You were always pretty confident with that, I think.
Crazy, too, because you're right, yeah. And so there was these competitions in my 20s they used to do called NAP, which stands for Nudes of Poppin'. Right. So, like, they used to do those up in northern Indiana, up by Chicago. And you have to be... I mean, there's a lot of people there, probably a couple thousand people in the audience. And for part of your show, when you're on stage, you have to be fully nude. And I never cared. It was fucking weird. I just never gave a shit. Like, I've said it before, I'm not fucking hung like a horse, but I'm not small either. So, I mean, I'm comfortable with what I got. I just always felt comfortable in my skin. I just never gave a fuck.
Well, I think
Pardon
you
my
need
French.
that. Yeah, you need that to succeed in this business. I think if you have reservations and you're timid on things like that, this is not the industry you want to be in, for sure.
No, there's definitely a certain level of, you don't have to be arrogant or cocky, but you definitely have to be, there's a certain level of like confidence you have to have, and just feel confident in yourself that that when you walk into the room, you're there because they want you there and you're in control. And I like that. I like that a lot. I love that about bachelorette parties. I love that about the gigolo stuff. Whenever I show up for a client or customers or a group of girls, I'm in control. I lead the way. So, I mean, I dabbled into some adult films. That's the one thing I didn't like about adult films that turned me off to them. When you work for big companies, you're not in control.
Right.
They're telling you what to do. You're doing this, you're doing that. And it's just, something about not being in control I don't like.
Yeah.
I'm a control freak.
You're at their mercy. And a lot of times I hear a lot of the girls tell me in the industry, like, especially since OnlyFans come out, it really changed the game because they would get paid a lot of times a flat rate to do a film. And if that film became a high-selling film, they don't get any residuals off.
Oh, no. And that still exists, but they also have the OnlyFans platform to do that too. But you're absolutely right. you know, every once in a while you get a porn that would take off or a scene that was controversial, you know? And yeah, you're right. They get their flat rate and that's it. But that's the name of the game. Those girls are still making, I mean, I know they're giving their bodies and stuff, but those girls are bare minimum. They're making 2, 3, 4, 5,000 a film. I mean, it's not bad for getting fucked, right?
No.
I mean, I don't want to sound rude, you know, but I mean, it's not bad pay. The guys' pay is like way less for porn.
Right. Yeah, the guys are on the lower spectrum.
It depends though. Like I think people like I think it's like the famous Johnny Sins. I'm sure he's he can probably set his rate what he wants it because he's a very sought after guy.
There was another one, was it James Dean that was pretty popular
James
for a
Dean, and
while.
then I'm gonna forget his name. He was like my hero growing up, and I met him at my first, when I first did porn, you have to get blood tested by TTS testing.
Right.
So you have to have a blood test every 2 weeks. And the first time I rolled up to TTS, he was standing out there and he played an Entourage. He was Sasha Grey's porn star boyfriend in Entourage. Damn it. I
Was
feel
it
like an
the
asshole.
long blonde hair guy?
Nah, goatee, fucking,
I can't remember.
I gotta give him a shout out because now I feel like an asshole. I can't remember his fucking name. Let's see here real quick.
I was thinking, like my heyday of watching
Porn star guy on series Entourage.
Always seen Evan Stone.
Oh, fucking A. Tommy Gunn.
Tommy Gunn.
When I was a kid, jerking off to magazines and stealing pornos from my parents, you'd see Tommy Gunn every time you turn on. It's like, there's that guy again. And as a kid, I always thought, like, I want to be like that guy. I want to be the guy that fucks all the girls. I mean, that's the cool thing to do when you're a kid, right?
Yeah. And you go back even with guys like John Holmes. Like, I don't know how much you know about his history, but he was obviously a big deal back in the day.
There's a lot of controversy with that guy.
Dude.
Have you heard the Wonderland stuff?
That's what I was about to bring up. I wasn't sure if you were aware of that.
Yeah.
The Wonderland murders
Absolutely.
is some crazy stuff. And the movie Boogie Nights is kind of loosely based on that.
That era where they rip off the drug dealer.
Yeah.
But they actually made, do you see the movie Wonderland?
Yes.
Yeah,
with
Val Kilmer. Yeah. So
Yes.
I don't know how true to what happened, but those murders really happened, and he really might have been involved.
Oh, yeah. Well, the story that I heard was that he owed the Wonderland gang some money. And he knew that, I can't remember
The
that.
fictional character was Eddie Nash.
Eddie Nash, yes. Well,
I don't know if
that's his real name.
That
was
the real guy.
That's the real name, Eddie Nash. That's
okay.
the name I was trying to think of. So he knew that Nash had a lot of product and stuff, so he left the door open for the Wonderland gang to get in and rob him. Then Eddie Nash quickly put it together that Holmes was responsible. He made Holmes take him to where they were at, and then basically all the murders took place.
And in the movie they actually made Holmes kill one of the people.
And that was alleged because it was a palm print or a fingerprint
on the bed frame
near one of the bodies that matched Holmes.
Yeah, that guy, it's crazy with that guy. Again, I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but it's like, he went from being like this all-star to being drug addicted. And unless I'm mistaken, like he ended up started doing, which is nothing wrong. He started doing the gay porn. He got AIDS, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
and that was back when it killed you quick.
Yes.
And I think that's what got him, right?
Yeah, it was.
Fucking nuts, dude.
Yeah, go from the height of heights and that to, doing, like you said, the all-male porn. It was just crazy.
And not to change subjects, but another high guy that I thought was really cool for many years. I actually ran a train on a girl at Nudes A Poppin'. Ron Jeremy would be the host at Nudes A Poppin' every year. And then now he's in fucking L.A. County for, I guess he sexually assaulted or he was something with him. I don't know the details.
Yeah, he's got a lot of charges going around with him too.
So I'm not, if he did it, fuck him. But I'll tell you this, man. I'm not fucking kidding you. So that Nudes A Poppin', right, that I was talking about, that's mainly catered towards the women. So you get strip clubs from all over the country, porn stars, they go there to promote themselves. Right. He would show up. I would call him Tommy Boy. You know what Tommy Boy, in the movie Tommy Boy, he has a trash bag as his luggage? Yeah. That guy would show up with like a shitty duffel bag, wearing shitty Crocs, sweatpants and a shirt, and these fucking girls would just throw themselves at him. So like, when I saw those charges, I was like, if he did it, fuck him. But dude, every situation I seen him in, girls were throwing themselves at him just to fuck Ron Jeremy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. When we were hanging out in the fucking room, it was banging my friend Riley. And as he was banging her, she called me over and she started blowing me. And, I was on top of the world. I was 24 years old running a train with Ron Jeremy. I thought I was the fucking coolest guy on the planet.
Yeah, I don't know if it gets much cooler than that if you're in that industry to be
20-something years old too,
Yeah.
You're like, fuck yeah, dude. I bragged to all my friends, That was actually you know, when you go back, that was actually my first experience with swingers. So you get a lot of like swingers and couples that like the couple swap and all that stuff. So I just, true story, I just gotten off stage. I'd won my award for Mr. Nude Entertainer of the Year. And I'm walking down to go to my car through the audience, and this hot blonde is like, God damn it, you're so hot. I just want to suck your cock. And I said, go ahead. She goes right to her knees right there, starts blowing me. You're not supposed to do that. I remember security came rolling up in the golf cart. Excuse me. Security came rolling up in the golf cart. No bullshit. And they're like, at that time, I was going by Sebastian. They're like, damn it, Sebastian, you know you can't do that, right? Story gets even funnier. So like, we had an RV thing back there. And when they said RV, it was like, it reminded me of like one of those really nice tour buses, like a band we tour in. So we get into the tour bus thing, and I have her bent over the sink, and I'm fucking her, and all of a sudden her husband walks in. He goes, what the fuck's going on here? That's my fucking wife. My heart stopped for a minute, and he goes, oh, I'm just kidding. He stuck his dick in her mouth, and we fucked her. So, yeah, right. So that was my first introduction to that kind of lifestyle.
Did that, I mean, obviously, if you're in that, I don't think nothing will really surprise too many people that's in this industry because so many people like different things. But that's the one thing that when you talk about guys, just in general, guys talk, water cooler talk, that's the one thing that everybody says they would never couple swap. But then you have some people that's all they do. That's what that makes their relationship.
I've seen so many couples that are into that. Or even just like the husband just likes his wife being satisfied. Like, and there's all certain reasons. Like I remember I had a local couple here that had paid me to do their services because the guy had some medical problems and was going through surgery and he couldn't get hard. And he wanted his wife to be satisfied. So he wanted to control that. That sounded fucked up to some people, but you know, what goes on between two consenting adults and their marriage and what they have agreement, as long as both people are on board, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I don't either. And there was a show that come on. It was a real popular show back in the day called Prison Break.
I remember that show.
And
the guy had the tattoo of the prison or the escape on his back and shit.
The blueprints tattooed.
The bald head guy. Yeah, and he had the brother, whatever. Yep. Yeah.
So about midways through the thing, they're trying to copy these cards that each different people have that are like spread all amongst the globe. They're actually here in Vegas, believe it or not. And so the guy has the card on him. The guy's pretending to be like a pool boy. He has to stay close to him for like a minute for that thing to copy all the data from the card.
Okay.
And they wind up going upstairs, and the way he thinks it's about to go down is he thinks the man's a homosexual. He thinks he's gay. And he goes into the room, and they're like, you got to go, man. You got to go do it. And so he goes up in the room, and he's like, I'm only staying until I copy the card. Let me know, and then I'm out of there. He goes in, and there's this beautiful like Latina woman laying on the bed, and he's like, I can't do anything for her, and she likes to be satisfied. You know, in so many words, it was regular TV, and that was it. And I was just like, there's probably a lot of that goes on.
Yes, it is. It's very normal. I have a handful of couples that I see multiple times a year. They fly into Vegas just to have fun with me, and I work with women too, and they like to sometimes throw women in. It's like, again, I've always said this on every podcast I've done. I'm not advocating to do that. Do whatever that you have with your partner. Just don't do it behind their backs. Just don't do that fucking bullshit where you lie and you cheat and you're deceiving. That's horrible. That can hurt somebody. That's real hurt. Yeah. You know, people don't realize that. That's real hurt, man. You can damage someone because of that. But people that I've met in that lifestyle that are all on board, swingers and couple swaps or whatever you want to call them, are some of the happiest fucking people I've met. Yeah. They're happy. And they're usually more times than not, they're usually very wealthy.
Yeah.
I don't know if that goes side to side, but I've never very rarely had like middle class couples.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said for that, because you remember the whole Fontainebleau Hotel incident with the pool boy and the Falwells, Jerry Falwell's son.
Talking about the Fontainebleau?
Yeah.
You know, fucked up. I was stripping, but the owners hired us on opening night, and me and my boy Anthony Steele went up there, and we knocked out a party for, I think it was their daughters or whatever. But that was the opening night of Fontainebleau. We did the whole thing. But anyway, you said something fucked up. So there was some kind of...
Yeah, so he was like a pool boy or cabana boy or whatever you call it. And Jerry Falwell's...
Why does that sound familiar?
His dad was like a famous preacher back in the day.
Yes. Okay.
He was the son.
Okay.
And then it's a university. It's like a Christian-run university.
Wells. That's exactly what it is.
It's somewhere in North Carolina. I can't think of it right off the top of my head, but very prominent family. Well, anyways, they were basically they were giving this pool boy money, bukus of money, just to basically be with his wife.
Fuck, I lived here this whole time and I missed out on that.
I want to say it might have been in Florida, but I can't remember.
Oh, the Fountain Blue in Florida.
Yeah, the Fountain Blue.
I was talking about the Fountain Blue here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, there's a few of them. I think it was in Florida, if I'm not mistaken. But you see that all the time, and that's why, like you just said a minute ago, that is a lot of hurt when you do it behind your partner's backs. And I've talked my wife about this, and I'm like, the only other than like physical abuse, like actually physical abuse, that's the worst hurt you can do to somebody is cheat on them.
Because one of the worst feelings in the world, and I felt it as a young guy sometimes, and it really feels horrible to be betrayed by someone that you fucking love.
Yeah.
That hurts. Like, it hurts almost. I'd rather get punched in the fucking face.
So,
you know?
In doing what you do you have steady girlfriends?
That's hard.
I was about to say.
No, that is hard.
Yeah.
It is. It definitely is. So, yes and no, but more times than not, no. You know, I don't want to sound like a fucking asshole, but I call it like a pimp love.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a pimp by all means, but you call it pimp love, where you like the girl, I like her a lot. You know, when we hang out, but when we're not hanging out, that's gone. There's been plenty of times where I've been on dates and stuff, and I get a call to go to work, I just leave. Sorry, baby, we'll have to pick this up when I get back. And the fucked up thing is that makes them like you more.
Yeah.
It's fucking nuts, dude. It's fucking nuts. Sometimes you can't get rid of it. I'm not trying to get rid of them, but I found out when I'm the nice guy, it doesn't work out. When I'm just fucking asshole fucking Tyler, and just being my true self, and just, baby, I got to go do work. They love it. I don't know, man.
It's that whole they want what they can't have.
Is that what it is?
They're trying to rein them in.
Some kind of bad boy fucking thing, I guess. I don't know. I'm not bad, but it's the whole.
Well, I've talked to a lot of females in this industry, and I talked to them about how hard it is to date. And what they say is a lot of times, like, the guys are okay with it in the beginning because they think it's cool. And a lot of them go in with the intention of
at
thinking
first they can make up. And again, it's just a saying, though, you can't turn a whore into a housewife.
Right.
That's just an expression. I'm not saying all strippers are whores or any of that, but yes.
And then a lot of times they think they can change them and make them give up that industry. And look, if women if they truly enjoy this type of industry, and with the amount of money that they make, if they apply themselves.
Dude, I know some bitches making fucking 30, 40, 50 grand a fucking month, dude.
You're not going to be changing people like that all kind of way. It's not going to happen.
No, it'd have to be like true love, and again, like, it'd have to be love mixed with money. And I hate saying that, but like, when a woman works like that, they get used to a certain lifestyle. So that man better be able to keep up that lifestyle for them, or they're gonna. And I hate saying it, man. I mean, fuck, it sucks. No. It sucks, dude. Or we live in a world of sin, and you get everything. I don't know, man. You always got to have the new bag. Always got to have the new car. Always got to have the new fucking iPhone. You're always trying to impress fucking Joe Schmo. It just is what it is. It's human nature.
Do you see a lot of that here? I bet in Vegas, though, right?
Yeah, so much superficial bullshit. Like, I know yeah, dude. I know morons that I don't do it, but I know morons that don't own any property and brag about their fucking Louis Vuitton bag. I'm like, you're such a fucking retard, bro. You know, I got this new Louis Vuitton belt. How much property or real estate have you invested? None. Oh, but you got a fucking Louis Vuitton belt. Good job, retard. You know, Jesus Christ. But yeah, a lot of superficial people here.
Yeah, the money that some people pay for some of the, like, purses and stuff like that. I mean, if you got it, by all means. But if you don't have it, like,
I was walking around with $5,000 bags. What the fuck? If I gotta take that $5,000 and fucking put a down payment on a piece of fucking property, you fucking buying a purse.
Yeah.
I think different, man. That's all.
I heard the interview you did with Mark on Soft White Underbelly.
You heard both of them?
Both of them.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. Actually, I heard the follow-up today because I heard the original one, then I listened to the follow-up.
I shot that one in fucking Skid Row. I don't know. I'm going to break to the audience here. Mark is a great guy. Shout out to Mark. His studio is in the middle of Skid Row in fucking L.A., and that's a world in its own. Just FYI. I showed up there. I can't carry my gun on me there. You can't protect yourself there. It's liberal California, you know. You can't do shit there. They want, it's like they want you to get fucking robbed. Yeah, anyway, fucking he's right there in the middle of it. It's nuts, you know.
Well, some of the people that he has on, like I said, we talked earlier, is probably he could just probably go outside and yell.
Oh, he does.
And have somebody.
A lot of those guys, they go to him because they know he'll pay him a couple $100 to come on because it helps him out.
Yeah.
So that it's funny. He's like protected in that community there.
Yeah.
Because they know they can go on his show and make money. You know, I felt bad enough. This guy he went and grabbed me a bottle of water, and I gave him $20 while I was there. Like, they're really nice people. It's a sketchy fucking area.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. It's like, to say the least, man. No offense, but that place is fucked.
Well, he talked about something that you mentioned on his show, and I thought it was kind of interesting. And I've seen and heard things related to this, but hospice parties.
So I only did one of those.
Okay.
And that was when I first moved to Vegas. Well, maybe a couple of years in, but it was an older lady. She was dying. The husband hired me. Her kids were there, and she was laying in the hospital bed. They had the hospital bed in the living room, and I came in as a cowboy, and it was a really great experience. I'm glad I was able to put a smile on her face. I ended up having a beer with the husband and the son out back afterwards, and it's like, I'm not crying, you're crying. Yeah. I got a little tear jerked after that. It's the first time I got hit. I was a young man, and I think that was the first time I really realized that, one day I'm going to die. You understand mortality. You understand you're not going to have this forever, and that could eventually. I don't know if I'll have a stripper, but maybe I will. But that could easily be me when I get older if you live long enough. Yeah,
There's a scene on The Sopranos, and that's probably my favorite show.
That's my favorite, dude. I literally watched an episode today. I'm rewatching some of them. That's my favorite fucking show.
I've had like 7 people from that show on.
No fucking way.
I interviewed Lilo Brancato, who played Matthew Bevilacqua, when Tony and Big Pussy shot him.
Trying to think which one that was.
He was in A Bronx Tale, but he was in season 2.
Yes.
I interviewed him. I interviewed Robert Fonora, who played Eugene. He was the taller, skinny guy that hung himself at the end.
Yep.
When Tony wouldn't let him go to Florida. I interviewed John Fiore. He was in season 3 and 4. He died. He was like the most unexpected death, where he died taking a shit. He had a heart attack on the
he was in the club or in his like little hangout.
Yeah.
I love that fucking show, bro. I love Christopher Moltisanti, bro.
Yeah.
And Paulie.
You kind of remind me of like a Christopher Moltisanti.
So, I was gonna say, I gotta say this. So, like, you remember the fucking scene where they're chasing the Russian guy through the woods?
My favorite episode.
And Tony. It's funny because they go to his apartment first to get him. It's a shitty apartment, and then fucking he calls Paul. He goes, "Listen, this guy's real deal. He's killed people for the interior monastery or something." And then Paulie hangs up. He looks at Chris. He goes, "This guy's killed 16 people, and he's like an interior decorator." And fucking Chris goes, "Really? His fucking apartment looked like shit."
That show is so good, man. That's so my favorite episode, man. If I'm ever down, I want to laugh, I put on an episode.
Where they're eating the Tic Tacs or the ketchup packets. Yeah.
Give me some of that. Mix it with the relish. But there was a scene in there when I was hearing about the hospice party thing where the original boss that was there, it was Jackie Jr. or Jackie Jr.'s dad. Jackie Aprile. He was the boss.
He died of cancer in the first season.
Well, that first season, he had a girl come in there like a nurse, and she's like trying to take his blood pressure, and her boobs popped out all in his face, and he's like, "What the hell's going on?" And a real nurse come in there. He gave her like $20 and was like, "Go away, this is a private party."
100%.
And I'm like, that is really cool. Like, I hope if I'm in that state, somebody does that for me.
So no bullshit. Not the hospice party, but one time in my life, I did go into a hospital room, an actual hospital room, and went and danced for somebody. A grandkid had hired me for his grandma that was in there, and she wanted I dressed up in it's called the Officer and Gentleman from Top Gun, and I did the whole Top Gun thing and the whole white outfit. Yeah, that was cool. I remember some of the nurses got pissed, but some of them were like, yeah, because come on, man.
What's the wildest thing you've ever been a part of?
What's wild? I mean, if I told you that girls in bachelorette parties would get me semi-hard and do lines of cocaine off my cock, would that sound wild?
I don't know if that's wild to you. It'd probably be wild
to the
average person. What's wild to you?
I don't want to sound like a prick. I've seen so much, like, I have to see like a live donkey show or some shit for me to be like, Jesus,
Okay, so let's step back. When you first really got deep into this, was there ever that one instance thing that happened that you were like, all right, that's up there?
So I talk about it in Mark's interview, is when I was at the Encore Win at the Tower Suites, and it was the really rich guy that had the dominatrix, and he liked to dress up like a woman, and he wanted to have like a mock bachelorette party, so they hired a male stripper for it, and that was the first time I really met like a cross-dresser, like a man that dressed like a woman. I never really experienced that before, being a small town kid from Indiana. Right. And that was within my first 6 months of working for Sin City. And it reminded me of Princess Diana. like the way he was dressed, or she or they, whatever. But the pearl necklace, the sport coat with the fucking shoulder pads, the nice ring, the pantyhose, the fucking high heels. Like, it was, to me, that was like, okay, I'm not, like, I thought of the Wizard of Oz. I'm not in Kansas anymore. Like, I'm not in fucking Indiana anymore. Welcome to Vegas, Tyler.
And I don't judge anybody that has their thing. I mean, everybody's got their own king. Everybody's got their own stuff.
Funny fucking part about that is we all do the party. I end up fucking the dominatrix. And then he takes us all out for a steak dinner at Steve Wynn's Steakhouse.
The guy that was throwing the party.
Yeah, I saw him as a man. He got all cleaned up and snapped out of it. He jerked himself off and snapped out of it. And I call it, he was in post-nut clarity and not pre-nut delusion, you know? So, you see that guy on TikTok? It's like you got to constantly be in post-nut clarity, or you're always going to be in pre-nut delusion. But yeah, after he did that, he took us all to steak dinner downstairs. I was tripped out.
Wow.
Yeah, I went from working at a factory in Indiana to bringing my boxed ham sandwiches to fucking banging dominatrixes to eating Steve Wynn's Steakhouse. It was definitely it was definitely like, this is where I need to be. I'm so glad I left.
Wild turn.
I packed up my 1998 Pontiac Bonneville with about $1,800 in my pocket and drove out west.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
And you're not stopping this anytime soon.
I don't know. Honestly, I as of now, no. I do well. I have a place down the street on the Strip. I'm fairly, I mean, no one's happy all the time, but I'm fairly happy. I wake up with an optimistic point of view. I get a lot of free time to play golf. I fucking love golf. I'm obsessed with fucking golf, man. I wish I would have picked it up earlier. So, I mean, anybody's watching this, Full Send or Bob Does Sports or the Good Guys ever want a porn star guy or gigolo on their channel, I can fucking play some golf. So have me on. But I doubt they will. They'll fucking get monetized. I always tell people that there was this PGA Pro guy that's still trying out for the league, was going to do some, because I'm going to go to Rumble and do some more adult golf and have like naked caddies, shit like that.
Yeah.
But this guy was going to do it with me, and his son's like, there's a morality clause with the PGA. I always joke, like, if you're going for legit, you'll get demonetized with me in a second. So don't, don't. Just fucking don't. So.
Yeah, I have the hardest time getting the monetization right with some of the interviews that I do.
There's certain ways, I don't know YouTube that well, but there's certain like guidelines, I'm assuming.
Yeah, well, a lot of it too is wording. I've learned that kind of the hard way, is like, depending on how you word something, like instead of saying an actress that's in porn actor, I just put industry actor or something along those lines.
Yeah.
You coy it a little bit. You
don't say you're adult, you're not a porn chick who bangs on camera. You say you're an adult actress that happens to act in some adult films.
Yeah, you've got to kind of be tongue in cheek with it a little bit, where somebody that because let's get real. Anybody that searches people that, like, I had Ryan Connor on. I don't know if you know who that is.
No, sir.
She was a big porn star in the late 90s. She took a 10-year break. She had a kid.
I probably jerked off to her a few times back then.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Blonde, no bullshit.
Blonde, great rack. I mean, she was like the woman, the MILF, and she's still in the industry. And I had her on. At the time, it was like my highest rated video, like 90,000 views.
Good for you.
Mean, really good.
It's good for you too, bro.
Yeah. And you have to word it a certain way. But like I said, anybody that Googles Ryan Connor, you know who you're looking for. It doesn't matter what the title
You didn't
says.
accidentally Google.
Yeah.
Is it Ryan Connor?
Yeah.
You don't accidentally Google Ryan Connor, for sure. Absolutely.
With the kind of mindset that you had, like you doing that, with the dominatrix, first time you seen it, but went along with it, keep on rolling. Has there ever been something that you said, no, I can't do that?
I mean, there was an instance I talk about. I think I talked about it in one of Mark's interviews, where it's only happened once. Is like when the husband wanted his wife to like suck my dick in front of him so bad, but she didn't want to do it. I could tell she didn't want to do it, and it's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, we're not doing this. Other than that, not really, man. Like 10 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, all my clients have been really. It's usually fun, fucking cool people that hire you.
Yeah.
They're already in kind of that. I mean, nerds aren't going to hire you. I don't mean this,
Right.
Usually it's a certain type of person is going to hire you.
Somebody that's coming there to the table that wants to hire you, they've probably already done it before. They're
probably
seasoned at the game.
Experiment a little bit, They probably already kind of like done some stuff at home with their wife, maybe picked up a guy at a bar, something like, and that then the reason why they hire me too is because at the end of the day, like, you pay a whore to leave.
Yeah.
And that's me. I'm not gonna hit up your wife when we're done.
Right.
I'm not gonna bug you. You're not gonna hear from me ever fucking again unless you call me. And that's what a lot of people pay for. And they come to Vegas, it stays here. Unless you don't wear a condom. Then it could pop up on you days later. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or 9 months later in some cases.
Whew. I'm surprised I don't have any kids. 100%.
You don't have any kids?
None. Not that I know of. I mean that in the nicest way. I've never had anybody come out of the closet or out of the fucking blue and say, hey, by the way, this 16-year-old kid, remember when we hooked up in Vegas, 16 years ago, this is your son. I haven't had that yet.
Do you want kids?
I think about it sometimes. I do and I don't. Some days I'm like, it'd be really nice to settle down, maybe take a bartending job and just have a kid and just live the family life, play golf, raise a kid. And then a part of me is like, sometimes I wake up, I'm like, I'm so fucking glad I don't have those responsibilities. So I don't know.
I think it's one of those situations where it's like, I don't know what you would go to next that would give you the same satisfaction. And it's like guys that went off the war, when they come back to the real world, it was so calm that they didn't really know what to do. And that's why Hell's Angels was formed.
Yeah, from Vietnam and shit.
You had guys that they missed that brotherhood, that camaraderie, that action, so they wanted something just to, feel that. And I think that's got to, in some ways, that kind of parallels the industry that you're in, because I don't know what job you could go to that would give you that same high in a sense of fulfillment. And I'm not saying you can't, but it would be hard.
I thought about being a cop or a firefighter before. It'd be like a high, intense job, but I don't know about a cop, but a firefighter, definitely.
Firefighter possibly. Cops, you couldn't pay me to be a cop these days.
Right. I know they pay them out here. You always see the ads for them. They need them out here, but I can't be one out here because of the hand tattoos.
Right.
So, yeah, they have like a big tattoo policy here.
So were you out here when the shooting happened in the hotel we're in?
Yeah, just down the street. I was still in the same place down the street.
So we're actually in the Mandalay Bay right now.
Absolutely.
And I don't know, was it out that window that the...
Can I look?
Yeah, sure.
I got to see where it's facing, what you're facing. Where we at here? We down here?
Yeah.
So we are down here. Where we at here? Mandalay Bay. So, no. It's going to be, trying to think where this is the side street. It's going to be, this is Tropicana here. It's going to, I think it's the other, it's wherever I think it's this way. It's wherever the concert thing was.
Okay.
We said they were doing a country concert because I remember one of my girlfriends, Tani, she was bartending there when it happened. It was some kind of, I forget who was playing, but it was
Jason Aldean.
Yeah, it was a country thing going on.
So I interviewed a girl that was an attendee of the concert, and they were right close to the stage. And one of the first shots that was fired, she said she was holding up her phone to take a picture of her and her husband, and the girl standing in front of her took a shot right to the face.
Woo!
And
that changed you, man.
Yeah, all hell broke loose. She actually done a documentary called 18 Minutes that's on Paramount Plus. And it's like 3 or 4 episodes in the whole series. And the first episode is pretty much all handheld cell phone video footage from attendees at the concert. It is surreal.
It's crazy, right?
Watch. Yes.
I don't know. I mean, we won't get into it with the conspiracy and stuff, but that was just a tragic thing that shouldn't have fucking happened. I never understood random acts of violence against people. I understand sometimes you have to use violence to protect yourself. I get that. You're pretty open with your story, right?
Yes.
Perfect example. You have a right to defend your fucking home. You have a right to defend your fucking self. But random acts of violence, it's fucking evil, bro. It's evil. Like, and I'm not going to try to get political, but it's like another thing like the rap music and the culture like that. Like the way they just push kill, 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 guns, guns, guns. It's like, dude, that's not the way, man.
Yeah.
It's not the fucking way, boys. It's not the fucking way.
And I don't understand what you want your legacy to be, that you took out so many innocent people. People that are out there having a good time.
Fucking listen to country, having some beers. Like I said, that girl's just trying to take a picture with her fucking husband. Like, dude, what the fuck, dude? I know, that's fucking shitty, bro. All kinds of fucking fucked up shit happens. The school shootings, all that shit, bro. Like, I don't get it. And a motherfucker just wakes up one day and goes, I want to fucking be an evil motherfucker.
Yeah. Have you ever had anything happen when you were doing jobs or anything like that where things got weird in the middle of it and there was a tense situation between like a husband or a wife? Or
I got punched once.
Really?
Yeah, and it was, the people there were cool. It was a local party at a very nice house in North Las Vegas. They hired me for it was the husband hired me for like his wife's 50th birthday to come just do a cowboy strip show. But when you ever do those things, a lot of times people start, they're drinking, they're laughing. Other girls will come sit in the chair. It's just the trippers here, I was only there for about 20 minutes. I'm dancing on this one girl and her drunk ass boyfriend came and hit me. Luckily he didn't hit me right. I didn't fall, but everyone jumped on him. The husband apologized to me a million times, walked me to my car, and said, "Fuck that guy. We did not." But that would be the only thing I could think of that even remotely. I've never been in a. Well, actually, you know what? I did a party. I've been scared one time. One time, I was scared. I didn't have my gun. I don't know what I would have done because they could have outnumbered me. We were doing a local party at a house. It was 4 girls. Hired me and my friend Anthony. Same guy, Anthony. We did the Fountain Blue. And we're dancing, right? We're in the middle dancing in the living room. And all of a sudden, I'm not saying he was a skinhead or a biker, but this big-ass fucking white boy walked in with 2 or 3 of his friends with a pissed-off look on his face. Like, what's going on here? I was like, oh, my God. You know, the girls didn't tell them what they were doing. I'm a street guy. I am. I looked at the guy. I went, bro, they hired us or I wouldn't be here. Are we cool? I'm going to get the fuck out of here. He went, we're cool. I just fucking grabbed my shit and fucking got out. That was the one time I've ever been scared. Yeah, bro. I'm in my I'm a fucking little, to him, I'm some little faggot in his underwear, you know, dancing on his girl. You know, I mean, just, you know, bikers don't play, man.
No. Yeah, that's not a path you want to cross of your own biker.
No, man. And again, whatever's going to happen, happened. But I said, they fucking hired us. I wouldn't be here if they didn't. Are we fucking cool? Because we're cool. I said, I'm getting the fuck out of here. He goes, fucking leave. I said, yep.
Have you ever run into any I'm not asking for names when I ask this question. Have you ever run into like any celebrities or known figures that's asked for your services?
Absolutely.
Does it surprise you?
When I was younger, yes. But now that I've gotten older, no. Not at all. I won't say any names, but some of the first celebrities I met was some, back in the day, a few famous poker players hired us for their wives and girlfriends.
Okay.
That was really cool. I was into poker. So see some of the guys you see on the World Series and stuff. Oh, yeah, I've danced for some of them.
I was a big Phil Ivey fan back in the day.
He wasn't one of the guys, but yeah, Phil Ivey. I like Helmuth. Helmuth. He's a little shit talking then, and I've actually sat down and it's been a long time, but I've played the same table as the cowboy hat. Damn it, the old guy.
Oh, Bud something,
right? Cowboy guy, the old guy with the cowboy hat.
I know who you're talking. Bud Doyle.
It was the older guy. I remember it was the older dude with the cowboy hat. Man, I sat at a table with him, and my friend. Was there another one called David Granu or
Daniel Negreanu?
My friend Daniel Negreanu busted my friend's aces, and he called it. He knew at the time. He goes, "You got aces. I'm going to bust them," and he did. That's at the MGM, I believe.
We're
going years ago, man. We're 15 years ago, man.
Well, see, a lot of that stuff started, and I don't know if you know a lot about the history of Vegas, but Binion's, down at Fremont.
That used to be the only place. I don't know what they've done now, but that was the only place in Vegas you could actually smoke in the poker room still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Benny Binion. You know who that name is?
He got murdered, right? Or something happened with.
Well, he murdered a lot of people.
Okay, I just heard I don't know. I thought something had happened to him or his son or something.
There was a lot of stuff that went on with that family, man. The father, Benny Binion, killed a lot of people.
Was he the one that had the girlfriend? And I don't know. There was some kind of thing with the casino guy.
He was a gangster. He was hands down a gangster.
Straight up gangster.
And
from the old school Vegas days.
From the old school. And then you had a lot of the influx of the Chicago guys that come out here, like Anthony Spilotro.
So I have a mob channel called Mob Stories.
Yeah.
So I just FYI, I have a mob channel called Mob Stories, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. So I do AI and tell the stories. And I literally just dropped one on the Spilotro brothers.
Really? I interviewed Oscar Goodman.
No way.
Yeah.
So I got busted with some bullshit years ago on the strip, and his son defended me. So I hired his son to fucking. I was like, I got Goodman, motherfucker.
So Oscar represented Tony Spilotro and all those guys.
And he
back in the day.
did a cameo in Casino.
Yeah,
people who don't know the
lawyer
Spilotro brothers. Yeah. That's the real Casino. That's Joe Pesci in Casino.
Yeah,
and they weren't beat in the cornfield. They were beat in a basement in Chicago, and then dumped in an Indiana cornfield.
Yeah, that's why I didn't know you done that. We've interviewed a lot of mob guys.
I don't know why I am dating a girl. She's my private life.
Yes.
But she's giving me shit all the time. She's like, why do you like that mob stuff so much? I'm like, I don't fucking know. I find it so damn fascinating.
Yes.
Like I did an interview with Larry Lawton.
I love Larry.
He sent me a box of cigars. I know he was never a made man, but he was affiliated with the Gambino family. I think he's openly talked about that, being a jewelry thief, and he called me a good guy. I was like,
Yeah. I've spoken with Michael Francis. I've had Anthony Ruggiano on.
You done Sammy the Bull?
I've spoken with Sammy, but we haven't done anything yet.
Crazy. And when you look at the history of the mob, isn't it crazy how he's still alive and free? That's so fucking nuts that he was the one, like, because I don't know. No, that is not the thing of mine. That's a thing of theirs, So right. I'm an outsider looking in. But from what I've seen, it's public information. That is crazy that, and for people who don't know, he passed away during COVID. So if you watch the movie Casino, you know the guy in the white hair that ends up turning on Joe Pesci?
Yes, Frank
That's
Vincent.
Frank Collado. Or no.
It's Frank Vincent's his real name.
He gave tours at the fucking Mob Museum here.
Yes, Frank Collado. I know you're talking about.
Yeah, he died around COVID, 2020 or 21.
Frank Vincent actually died slightly around that time, too. He was the guy that played him.
Oh, so he passed away, too?
Yes.
But Frank Collado, the guy he played, the real guy,
yes,
fucking that ran with fucking Spilotro, was giving tours at the Mob Museum. That's fucking crazy, dude.
Around the time when I was getting into podcasting, he passed away, and I really wanted to try to get up with him and do an interview, and sadly I was not able to do it. I read his book, but yeah, he was part of the Hole in the Wall gang that just went around Vegas. Just fucking Vegas had to be the Wild West back in the day.
Oh yeah, and people don't know. So like when he had that gold store, So off Sahara, there's a here in Vegas, off Sahara, off the Strip, there's a place called the I think it's the Allura High Rise. But if you go down and you go just west, there's an empty lot. It's kind of like where the Golden Steer, I think, Steakhouse is.
Yes,
that's where his what do they call it, the
Gold Rush.
The Gold Rush. Yeah. That's where it was. His original store was inside Circus, and they found out what he was doing. They bought him out and kicked him out, and he opened up the Gold Rush.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. I did a lot. I'm obsessed almost, but I like the mob shit, bro.
Oh, I did too. When I got Oscar, man, that was like a dream come true, and I didn't know some of the cases that he was even involved in at the time. He helped out a guy named Jimmy Chagra. You ever heard that name?
No, sir.
He was a very, very high prolific narcotics trafficker. He actually hired a man named Charles Harrelson, allegedly, to take a hit on a federal judge. The judge was murdered, but Charles Harrelson may not ring a bell to you.
No, sir.
But his son will, Woody Harrelson.
No way.
The actor.
His dad was fucking legit mob-tied?
Hitman for the mob.
Woo!
Bonafide hitman, had a fucking business card with basically the shit that he would do to get rid of people. Spent a lot of time down here in Vegas. And the funny thing about that particular murder is they charged Charles with it, and then Chagra was on trial for it too. Chagra got Oscar. Oscar got Chagra off. So Oscar supposedly hired Charles to do it.
Was the one that hired Woody's dad.
Yes.
Gotcha.
But Oscar got him off. But Charles still went to jail for it. And so Woody does an interview with Diane Sawyer, and he's like, look, my father was no saint. I'm not saying he was. He said, but what he's in jail for, he didn't do. He said the guy that supposedly hired my father, his sentence was overturned. He didn't even get charged for it. So how's my father in jail?
So I don't know, is his father still in jail? Or
no,
prison,
he's dead now. He was in jail. He never got out.
So he died in prison?
Yeah, he died in prison. He was in Colorado.
So they arrested the hitman, but they didn't arrest the guy who hired it. So it's like, well, nothing would. How does one go with the other, basically, is what he's allegedly.
The underworld stories is that somebody else may have actually killed that judge, but Charles took the money for it like he did it. Either way, he still went to jail for it.
Yeah, fucking prison.
Yeah, it's wild, man. There's so much stuff tied to that life. I always tell people it's not a coincidence. The Sopranos is, guarded as the best TV show ever. The Godfather is, regarded as the best movie ever. All these things.
I'll argue on that.
Time.
I understand why you say that.
I don't think it is. I think Goodfellas.
Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or Casino.
Yeah.
I'm privy to something about Casino, man. Even though Robert De Niro's kind of a douche now, but he's a great fucking actor.
He is.
He played that fucking role amazing. And and then what's his name? Frank Collado said it was scary how good Joe Pesci portrayed Anthony the Ant Spilotro. Yeah.
So did Oscar. Oscar said he loves to drink his Bombay Sapphires drinks. He says I'm a functioning alcoholic. He openly admits it. And he says I was on the set, and he said the only way I can describe it is he said Tony had like a little crook in his right arm when he used to carry his briefcase. And he said, Joe Pesci come in there, and he said, I had to double and triple take because he said it looked so much like him, it was uncanny. And he's like, I know I've not had that many drinks already. It's only 10:30. But he said it was just insane how much he looked like him.
I love it when he's like, he goes, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk into the bank tomorrow. I'm going to ask for my money. If you don't have my fucking money, I'm going to crack you over the fucking head. He goes, you know what? By the time you're waking up from your coma, I'm going to be getting out of jail. And guess what? I'm going to whack you in the fucking head again because you put my money to sleep, I put you to sleep. And he goes right in the way he does, he goes, you got the point? And De Niro's like, he's a legit guy. He's going to go to the cops. He's going to go to the cops. I love that part in that movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm with you on De Niro's recent political debates, but he's got a new movie coming out. I don't know if you've seen the previews for it.
No.
But it's called Alto Kings or Alto Knights. He plays Frank Costello and Vito Genovese in the same movie. I'm not really sure why he's playing both parts, but it does look good.
Okay.
I'm interested in seeing that.
How'd you like that prequel to The Sopranos?
I liked it for a refresher to the people, but
Right.
it wasn't like my favorite thing.
No, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And while we're talking, Tony gets whacked, right? There's a whole conspiracy.
Got to be.
Because they talk about it. Remember when him and Bobby are on the boat?
Yeah.
And they're talking?
I bet you don't even hear it when it happens.
It happens, he just goes black. That's what happens. He looks up and it just goes black and it's over. I remember watching that live, or it wasn't live, but as it came out. Yeah. And I remember I was living at my brother's house in Greenfield, Indiana. And I remember just staring at the TV going, that's it? Holy shit. That's it? That's it? Yeah. It's like it's over.
I hated it when it first happened, but now I love it. And
absolutely.
I've got a maturation for it. And I talked with another guy that I interviewed in season 2, David Preval. He played Richie Aprile. He was the nemesis of Tony throughout season 2.
Yeah, Richie. Yeah,
one of the best bad guys on the whole series.
Yeah, he was the one banging Janice, right?
Yes,
he never fucking listened. He was always like,
him.
Yeah, that was the first husband she shot.
Yeah,
then fucking Ralphie, right?
But I had a chance to interview him, and I asked him about it because he was only in for that one season. And which everybody hated because I say they loved him. They'd like to hate him.
I literally watched the episode last night where he walks into the card game. He's like,
yeah,
what did I tell you?
Davey.
He goes, what do you fuck I tell you about coming back to the card games, you fucking prick, And he goes to grab me, and they call it Boxes Eaties.
Yeah.
I literally watched that episode last night. I'm rewatching some of them, man.
It's great. And I asked him about the ending, and he said, I thought it was perfect. He said, because do you need to see him laid out in the diner?
No, I like that.
But now anybody can make the ending whatever they want.
Yeah. I don't know if you can look it up on YouTube. There's a whole thing about, it's explained. They go through the thing, but, and then it's sad what happened with, I don't want to talk Ilya the Dead, but I was watching some interviews, and obviously he died unexpectedly with a heart attack, and James Gandolfini.
Yep.
But I guess he was noted he had some problems. He wasn't showing up on set sometimes, and I'm just now learning about this, watching some interviews with people, because the guy he played Furio, they asked him about it, and he goes, I'm not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
He goes, supposedly in the scene, remember, he's going to throw in the propeller? He goes, well, supposedly he didn't show up that day. And he goes, I'm not talking about that. He goes, I'm not going to talk bad about that guy. That guy was a good guy, blah, 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 blah. And he wouldn't go into it. But I guess maybe he was having some addiction problems or something.
Well, everything that I've heard, that he was the exact opposite of someone that wanted to be famous. He loved acting. He loved being an actor.
And he was like one of those famous people on the fucking planet, like a Kurt Cobain syndrome.
Yeah, and he wasn't until Sopranos. Like he had done bit parts here, there, and yonder.
Sopranos blew him up,
but Sopranos just made him this global superstar.
Yeah,
even a sex icon to a certain point. And he's not your typical sex icon person.
No, all those his crew, that whole main crew got blown the fuck up.
Yeah. And apparently he had some addiction issues, but he carried the weight on that show. They said that he was in almost every scene. Like a lot of the weight was on him to perform.
You look back at it, he was definitely in every episode.
Yeah.
And he was damn near like a lot of it's Tony Soprano.
Yeah, because it was him and his wife, him and his son, him and his daughter, him and his mom.
Him and the fucking crew.
Him and Chris. I mean,
I like the guy. You ever interviewed the guy who played Johnny Sack?
No, I'd love to. Vincent Caratola?
Excuse me.
I would love to.
Yeah, I liked him. He played a really good boss.
Yeah.
And because the smoking and the cancer, I thought there was a little John Gotti.
Yeah, very much so.
Like the way he looked and the way he kind of, did himself, like he was a man the whole time through.
Always had the suit and everything. And I
watched an interview saying that, I don't know if it's true, but Gotti's laying on his deathbed and the priest came in and he just he waved him off.
It wouldn't surprise me.
You know, he said in fight, he goes, you live to 5,000 years old, you never met a motherfucker like me, is what he said. And
yeah.
The guy was, to the end, he never fucking remind me of Suge Knight.
Oh, yeah.
I remember there was a fucking court scene where the judge gave him and he goes, you got anything you want to say? And he fucking stands up and goes, I walked in here like a fucking man. I'm going to walk out of here like a man. I'm like, good Lord, bro. That's some gangster shit, bro.
There's some
because people fold over in court all the time. I don't know how I would handle it if I'm facing life. And people fold over all the time. Faint, cry, scream. He just got up and walked out, man.
I'd have collapsed. I mean, I myself was facing a possible life in prison charge. And
dude, I don't know that stress that man had put on you.
No, I'm telling you. That's why I don't have any hair.
I was going to say, is that why you're... Dude, that's... And to know, and again, I from what we've talked, and this is a close case, correct?
Yes.
So you can openly talk about it?
Yes.
So from what you've told me, you're a man in your own home, defending your home and defending your life. There should have been no reason why you're facing that.
Exactly.
My opinion.
Especially in South Carolina. Like some states, I get the gun laws are different. South Carolina's...
Vegas, don't fuck around here.
Yeah.
Cops will shoot you here.
Yeah.
Don't fuck around here, dude. Metro, I'll say this. Every cop's different, but Metro's pretty cool out here. But until you fuck with them.
Yeah.
Like, if you're just doing bullshit, get the fuck out of here, whatever. But, they don't fuck around, bro, if you're really trying to pull some shit. I've seen them throw people up against the wall. I've seen them go up, and they don't fuck around, bro. Yeah.
Well, man, I appreciate you coming on. I've enjoyed having you. I love talking about
I'll talk some
stuff.
Sopranos. Fuck, we can talk for another 5 hours on this shit. Dude.
I know. When
I appreciate the light.
Comes up, man.
People get a taste of my personality now a little bit. I like that, man.
Yeah.
I know I'm the gigolo guy. I'm known for that. But it's that's cool. I could talk gangster shit all day long, man.
Yeah. And I had no idea you were even into that kind of stuff.
Oh, I just did a thing on Albert Anastasia and Murder Inc. Yeah, bro. I like all that shit. And fucking my favorite gang. I was queen on this. My personal favorite gangster's got to be Crazy Joey Gallo.
Yeah.
Something about Gallo, man. Something about the way he held himself. Do you know at one point he was going to kidnap a mob boss? That dude was nuts, bro.
I tell you, you know Joe Colombo, I'm assuming. You read up on him.
That was the guy he was the guy that had tried to have whacked, or he had whacked by the black guy. That posed as a reporter. Allegedly.
I say that only because I've actually spent the night in Joe Colombo's son's, Chris Colombo's home, which was Joe Colombo's home in upstate New York.
Wow.
I went to his home. I interviewed him. I spent the night in his home, which was Joe Colombo's home in upstate New York. And he showed me all the stuff that he had from his father's days in the Italian-American Civil Rights League and all that. I mean, his father was a very different kind of guy. People want to say, he was a mob guy, but he was a different kind of a mob guy. He wanted to legitimize things. He wanted to, for the Italian Americans to be appreciated for who they were. He was not your typical gangster.
Right?
Yeah.
So, you mind if I plug?
No, go ahead.
So, guys, I'm on social media at Tyler Made. It's actually at Salad Toss and Lawson, right? So, Tyler Made at Salad Toss and Lawson on Instagram, on all socials, TikTok, X. I'm not really on TikTok much. Instagram and fucking X, Twitter. And then, can we end on this?
Yes.
Where's Jimmy Hoffa?
I did an interview with a guy named Michael Yarborough who swears up and down that he's seen Jimmy Hoffa tossed at the bottom of a pit and filled with concrete at the Renaissance building in Detroit. And believe it or not, we've actually talked to a sonar team. We have a price worked out that they can go in there and do sonars.
The bones will be there
in the pillar. And he's like, look, I can't tell you if it's a body. He said it could be a bag of trash.
But there's something in there.
But we can tell you if there's a void in that concrete.
It's the what?
The Renaissance Center, Detroit. It's the GM building in Detroit.
So supposedly he's buried underneath that.
He's the
foundation.
Concrete. He is part of the foundation.
Fuck.
And so I'm like, look, if we pay in there to go do that sonar and we find there's a void, they kind of got it. They've dug up farms. They've dug up everybody. Whoever got rid of that man, whatever parties were involved.
I don't know. That's what
they
I'm saying.
did it right.
Fucking, it's Hoffa, bro.
Yeah. One of the most recognizable people on the planet.
Vegas with the Teamsters and fucking, like I said, we can talk forever.
Yeah.
I know you got to cut it. Guys, thanks for listening, and thank you for having me, brother.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
It, man.
Again, you told everybody your socials. We'll tag them in the bottom of this interview.
Put it right here.
Really appreciate you coming on, my friend.
Yeah, thank you so much, Wade.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.